Hello lovelies. No, it's not quite Groundhog Day, although it feels like it was only 2 seconds ago that I did this job. Hang on, using my mouth. By the way, how are you all? I hope you're well. I brought the wrong scissors out, I have to swap them. Use my bag. Yeah, it only feels like 2 minutes ago since I did this, but I'm back to tying the tomatoes in because they've grown about a foot. A foot in a fortnight. It's crazy. I think they enjoyed that rain. Now I wasn't going to do this job today, but in fact I was just coming down here with my harvesting basket to start picking. But I suddenly thought, you know what, I think I will, because we are now heading into winter. Oh my God, no, we're not heading into winter, autumn. We're heading into autumn. The thing about my autumn down here, generally it's mild. I hope I haven't just cursed myself. It's mild, it's wet, it's windy. And that's why I thought I'd better crack on with my tomato cares today. And I think it's worth bearing in mind for anything that's tall, any of those structures that we've still got that are tall, is how sturdy are they after their summer of growing. So I think we should put that on our list of jobs for September, early in September, is just check all our sort of taller structures, make sure they're up to task. There's one, I don't know, can you see that there? This one, it's kind of leaning backwards, it's a bit jaunty. I have to shout because of the wind. Yeah, it's a bit jaunty, so I've got a piece of rebar I'm going to sink in next to it just to reinforce the beam pole a bit, because the tomato plants are laden with fruit, absolutely laden. But they aren't half tardy this year in ripening. I've heard this from quite a few people actually, that, you know, the fruit came normal timing, but they're just not ripening, which is weird because we've had a lot of sunshine. Anyway, so the point is, these are how tall is this one now? I mean, the plants are sort of 7 foot in places, laden with fruit. The last thing I want is a gust of wind in the next couple of days to take the whole lot out. What a waste that would be. So I'm going to go and get that rebar right now. But if that did happen and my plants got snapped to the point of, yeah, that's killed them, I'll just take all the tomatoes home. And there was a year, it was last year, wasn't it, when I took everything off for fear of blight. Just got the first bit of blight showing. Took the whole lot off, took them home, put them in my south-facing window. Didn't do anything with them. I didn't put a banana with them, didn't put them in paper bags, didn't do any of that. I haven't got time for all that fussing and faffing. Just left them in the window, and, you know, some took a while, but eventually they all ripened in the window. All got stored. Brilliant. So yeah, if I do have some kind of big gusty weather incident, I just take them all off, take them home, ripen them slowly at home, because no, I don't like fried green tomatoes, I don't like green tomato chutney. The only thing that I would possibly consider doing with them is Richard & Paul's green tomato chutney, which I've never tried because, just like last year, every time I've had green tomatoes, I put them in the windowsill, they ripen. But I'm not really especially, fried green tomatoes and green tomato chutney. Right, I'll carry on with this and then let's do some harvesting, because there are some lovely things to pick today. Let's get picking. So I'm starting here with this is bog standard Gardener's Delight. I don't, you know what, it's nice to find different things. It's nice to try different things. But, you know, oh, split, it must have been that rain we had. Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with growing really common bog standard varieties. And, hold on a sec, I got my head caught up. I mean, just look at that colour. It's just perfect red, isn't it? So you can see they're a big cherry. I will have, of course, I will be having some of these raw in the next few days. I'll be having them with my coriatiki, yay! And then a lot of them will get frozen and they will, or bottled, but au naturel. So for Gardener's Delight, I will skin them, so they'll be uncooked, completely raw, au naturel, but skin them, pulverise them to squash them down to the least amount possible and freeze them like that, or bottle them like that. I'm wondering this year, I'm going to just move you, oh, you're coming with me. Yeah, I'm wondering this year about, oh, sorry, my knee just buckled. I'm wondering about not skinning them, because the skinning involves blanching them first. You sort of boil them for about a minute and then plunge them into an ice bath, and that just helps to get the skins off. But I'm thinking because of the way things are, fuel, gas, that I will probably opt, you're moving again, I'm probably going to opt to, you know what I'm going to do? I will try a portion without skinning them, blitz them, pulverise them like I would as if I was going to freeze them, and then just cook them from that and see if the skins are annoying. And if the skins aren't too annoying, I won't bother skinning, because that will save the gas ring. Right, to other side for the Guernsey Islands. Hopefully, sorry, I'm just woman handling you all today. You see how coming up. Oh, sorry. See how the Amish paste have started to colour up beautifully. But first of all, you know, I think I might have done a bit of a pull with one of my labels, because, yeah, these, oh, I know what it was. I was thinking these aren't Guernseys, but I ran out. I had enough Guernseys to go to here, and these were just to plug the gap. This is a Gardener's Delight, that's a Rose de Bain. But the Gardener's Delight are taking, oh yuck. Oh, don't drop him, Vivi. Oh my goodness, overripe. That one needs a clean. Okay, because I've not had them before, I wasn't sure when to pick. Oh, look at the gorgeous colouring marking. So it's more of an orangey red. Oh, that one's just burst as well. I'm going to just pop those to one side because I don't want to squish over all the others. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? When you grow a variety for the first time. I forgot my basket. Oh, Vivi. I think I'm not. Oh, the smell. Oh my goodness. I think I'm not quite with it in the brain department today. Do you know what? Let me pick the rest of the toms. What I was saying about... No, I'll pick the rest of the toms and then I'll sit at the table and talk about preservation. It feels bonkers to only now be getting the first ripe tomatoes. It's not massive. Oh, they weigh quite a bit. Right at the end of August. Bonkers. I mean, I'm talking about making a salad. We'll be in winter before we know it. Don't want salads in winter, but I need to look. So here we go from, where was one? I want to find one of those really, really red ones. The beautiful little Gardener's Delight. The Amish paste. Oh, what a corker. And yes, these Guernsey Island. The wind's picking up again. I'm sure we're going to have a storm. Can you see those markings more clearly here? If I put it next to you, you can see how it's, very different. So I'm going to try some of those raw in a salad too. Really want to try the Guernseys always, in all, always as in raw, cooked, what have you. So, frozen in portions, and I use them then throughout the winter as you would a tin of chopped tomatoes. Brilliant, dead handy, great. Use them in tons of recipes. Au naturel. Then I've got, and I've taken it off because it was just starting to split. This is one of the rose de bain. Can you see that beautiful skin? It's that sort of slightly pearlescent pinky colour. Beautiful. So the rose de bain, I'll have a little bit of that raw in salads too, but mainly and along with the Amish paste for making sauce. So chop, 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 chop. The addition of onions, garlic, herbs, peppers. Maybe I've still got some peppers from last year. In the oven, roasted, blitzed, a really gorgeous thick oil as well. A lovely, lovely, lovely thick sauce that I can use as just as you would tomato sauce in pasta. Chuck a load of beans in and suddenly, it's turning into baked beans, that sort of thing. Now, that will involve putting the oven on, but what I'll do is, during those sessions, I'm going to make sure that every inch of the oven is filled. So that might be the occasion when I roast one of my beetroot, but I'll see how it goes. It might also get to the stage where I say, do you know what, everything this year is just going to get frozen without being cooked first. Right, what's next? Courgettes, potatoes, beans, loads more picking. I'm suddenly feeling really, really hungry and the wind's picking up a bit, so I think I'm going to turn you all off for now. I'm going to go and carry on harvesting, and we might have to continue this video tomorrow. Tons and tons of jobs to do that aren't harvesting. Yeah, we might continue tomorrow because by the time I've done all my picking, bit of watering, I'm dead hungry. I think I'm going to have to go home and start making up my first Greek salad of the summer. It's autumn. Oy vey. Bye for now. Hello again. Well, you can probably tell it's now the next day. Oh, still a bit of breeze on these fine hairs. I blame the tomatoes for the fact that it's the next day. I carried on and did a couple more jobs, just little jobs yesterday. Came back to the table for a sit outside the shed. The tomatoes were winking at me. I was feeling really hungry, quite tired, and I thought, stuff it, I'm going home, I want to scoff. So, yay, had my first koriatiki, my first Greek salad of the summer, it's autumn. Also, when I got home, I was a bit weirded out. I was like, hang on, am I seriously just harvesting my first tomatoes on the last day of August, first day of September, or whatever? I was like, I'm sure I normally harvest earlier. So I've got little photo albums for each year in the garden, and they're all arranged by month. So it's quite easy and quick for me to look up to see where were things at this time last year, or where were things at this time last year, last 2 years, last 3, whatever. And yeah, it is really, really late to be starting to pick my tomatoes. I'm normally starting to pick them at the end of July. So yeah, I mean, is it another thing that's been affected by the heat? Because just to say quickly, I did sow my tomatoes on time. So I know a lot of the garden was running late all summer, but actually tomatoes are one of the things. I'd sowed them on time, I pricked them out on time, potted them on time, and I'd potted some of them into quite big pots, so they were, even though I planted them out later than usual, they were really kind of substantial plants by then, so I don't think I'd halted their progress because of late planting. Anyway, yeah, so my first tomatoes are blooming gorgeous. Now I'm carrying on with the sort of the theme of the September jobs. This is a little bit overdue. I'm in the calendula bed. Oh, also to say, last night we had 2 hours of rain. Yay! I was so happy because it meant I'd made a list of jobs to do today, including watering. The watering takes an hour because I don't have to water. I thought, yay, I've got an extra hour in the garden. That extra hour has already vanished because that's how long it's taken me to get here today. I just keep bumping into friends on the way. Anyway, so I've lost an hour to chatter. I don't see it as losing an hour though, I see it as gaining an hour of chatter. So we had that rain last night, brilliant. It wasn't really heavy. It was how to describe it? It's like a medium, as Paul would say, medium weight rain, but it was 2 hours. The world of good, done the world of good. And one of the reasons for mentioning that is I'm in the calendula bed, and this little wattle fence has worked an absolute treat. Quite simply, just a few, they're all bits of broken cane that I had lying around, just stakes, vertical stakes, a few down the row, and then with longer bits of bamboo or other stick, I've just sort of woven them in and out, and then the next layer up, weave it on the opposite direction, as it were. So there's no string involved, it just holds itself together. Great, because previously, by this stage in the year, they can get quite floppy, the plants, so they'd be all over the path, all over the parsnips, and especially so after really heavy rain. They would just be smashed all over the ground and covered in mud. So yeah, it's worked a treat. I am a bit behind. I'm mentioning this now because I think this is a job that we could all be getting on with during September. I'm behind with deadheading. I've missed a couple of harvesting opportunities. I'll keep harvesting, but now there's a load of deadheads, and I will leave some because that's going to be my seed supply for next year, because wherever I go I'd like to have a bit of calendula in my garden, but I don't need as many seed heads as are rapidly developing. So the idea is get all of these dead heads out today, bar just a couple down at the end for seed saving, but get them all out, and then it's giving the plants a chance to flower again. They are quite they're quite a hardy little flower, calendula. You'll see them flowering in people's gardens right through the winter. Amazing. So yeah, it's worth me today spending this bit of time getting them, really thoroughly deadheaded, in the hopes that I can encourage a whole nother batch of beautiful flowers to come. Do the deadheading, and then I'll come back with my tray and harvest the flowers that are there. So it's going to be completely nude afterwards. But yeah, do a harvest today as well. It will take a while, and it's just like I was saying the other day in the lavender video. I'm making the most. I'm making the most of these days in the garden. I'm allowing myself to just be completely immersed in that job completely in the moment. Apart from the fact that it is my last summer in this garden, it's that thing of it's this time of year now when the weather is gorgeous. It's really warm too. It's quite humid as well, but it's warm. There's a gentle breeze. It's quiet apart from that aeroplane right on cue. Before we know it, it'll be raining every day and it'll be winter and we'll be wanting to tuck ourselves up at home. So yeah, these next few sessions in the garden throughout September, I'm going to think about, you know, one particular job and just absolutely get stuck in and wallow in that job and just really properly enjoy my moment. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to turn you off in order to do it. It's going to take me ages. Once it's done, there is another, yay! There's another job to do. It involves some planting. Oh my goodness, can't wait. I can't believe I'm going to be planting in September, but I am. So don't think about that just yet. I'm going to focus on the flowers. Get deadheading, folk. And hopefully that means you can get a second flush of blooms, and let's prolong this gorgeous almost summer in our gardens. Lovely. That was a fairly long job. Done. Brilliant. While I was doing it, one of my, and let me just set up what I'm doing now. Celery. It's all meshed and mashed. These are, oh, get out, oh, it's an empty snail shell. These are the celery I started at home, but I'm going to have to very delicately tease them apart because they're all mashed in together. They should have been planted ages ago. They're going in today, yay. Yeah, one of my plot neighbours, who also happens to be one of my neighbours where I actually live. We live on the same street, a few flats away from each other, and yeah, I was just had a really lovely chat with her because she owns her flat with her sister. So her and her sis have lived together for ages. I need my snips. I'll show you something on these in a sec. But the other sister is about to move out because she's moving in with her partner. So she's going to be in this flat on her own. So we just got talking about flats and flat hunting because she's heard that, I think everybody knows by now, that I'm going to be moving next year. I'm going to be flat hunting. I think some of these have been a bit nibbled, but never mind. There's enough there that they should survive, hopefully. So yeah, I was just chatting with her about what her sister is looking for, and it's pretty much the same as what I'm looking for, except they don't mind if there are a few steps. So I just told her about a flat that I saw the other day that, oh my goodness, it was just perfect for me, absolutely perfect. Victorian, so beautiful high ceilings, huge windows. I think it had most of the original fireplaces in, a garden. The garden's about half the size of my plot, which is a great size. It's eminently manageable. I mean, the whole thing was just utterly perfect. And looked at more of the property details, because it said it's ground floor. It's a raised ground floor. There's about 8, 9, 10 steps up to the front door. I don't want any steps. I mean, there might have to be 1 or 2 steps, but 8, 9, 10 steps. If I get to the point where I need to build a ramp, like I had to do for Auntie Teapot, can't. Anyway, so I just told her about it. So she's now messaging her sister to let her know about that. See if they can book a viewing. But the great thing is, so we were just chatting about it all now, and she was like, okay, so we're all going to look out for each other. So hopefully, if I'm looking probably for something slightly smaller, but we're all looking in the same price range as well. So I think it'll be great then if they you know, maybe they see somewhere and they go and have a viewing and they think it's gorgeous, but it's just a little bit small, because they're a couple, I'm going to be on my own. But yeah, they can pass that info on to me, what they've seen. Yes, so, sorry, it's definitely a day for digressing, but you know as well, apart from the occasional siren and the occasional airplane, it's just so quiet and still down here. It's also a day for just mulling over all the different thoughts and, you know, dreaming and being and enjoying the garden. Right, it does look like there's a bit of damage on some of them, but there's also, I wonder if you can see it in there, brand new growth. Poor things have been in their pots forever. They're quite tofty little plants, and I'm hoping now getting them out will they'll just get going now. And also I tend to use celery in the winter anyway. I add it to soups, I add it to all sorts. So I'm not bothered that I haven't had any until it smells lovely. I keep bruising bits. The other thing is, it is dripping everywhere. Yay for my new table to work on. It's related to, it's kind of a bog plant. So what I'd been doing, they've all been sitting in these trays in a couple of, you know, those shopping bags for life type things, sitting on the deck, on the stoop of the shed. Obviously they don't get rained on there, but when I've been watering, I've just literally put an inch of water in the tray, so they've been pretty wet the whole time. And yesterday I decided, okay, this is one of the jobs I was thinking about doing yesterday, so I got them out of the bags for life, and then I saw the tomatoes again. The tomatoes one, oh, just snapped a leaf. But yeah, they're a bit leggy because they've been in those bags, so they've been climbing for light. So what I'll do before I plant them is, any of these leaves that have properly died off, whatever, I'll just snip those off. I don't want any decaying matter lying around, because decaying matter invites the slugs in, it attracts the slugs. I might even have to think about putting some slug pellets down. I haven't put any pellets down all year because it's been dry, apart from back in April or May, I think it was. So they've been sat in trays with plenty of water. And what I've just done now, where I'm going to plant them, there was a bit of bindweed coming through. So I've gone with my trowel and, you know, dug it out quite deeply down. I've gone down the entire length of the hori knife to get the bindweed out. And I thought, crikey, the ground still looks really dry. So even though we had like 2 hours of that rain last night, and the garden does look a bit refreshed and perked up today, it's not really done much. So back to the fact that they are related to a bog plant. I'll save this water because where it's run through the pots, and of course the pots have got new this year compost in, it washes out some of the nutrients in the compost, so I'll save that water, it'll go back on them. The long and the short is, I think I'm going to have to water these in once they're planted, get them really well soaked in. I'm amazed, the ground's so dry still. Right, what I'll do, it's going to take me a little while. This is really tangled. I'll get them all untangled, then let's get them down into their planting position. And then, you see, this is how my mind works. I was then thinking, right, what will be the job after that? Stop it, Vivi. Stop thinking about the next job. Be in this job. I'm going to stay in this job. X marks the spot. This is where the chickpeas were. This is where the woozle wasn't for Winnie the Pooh fans. Now, this nasturtium has gone mad, so I'm just going to snap it off. pop it there for a second. I think there's some bit of grass that can come out. I think there's some nasturtium seeds on that I can harvest, which I will make into my poor woman's capers. Right, I've been bitten. There are suddenly, perhaps not surprisingly, tons of midgies around. I don't know whether they're midgies or mozzies, but they're nibbling. Now, in terms of spacing, I'm not going to keep you here forever because you know how to plant things, but I'm just sort of showing in terms of spacing. The variety is called Green Utah, and it's a self-blanching variety, which means it doesn't need to be trenched. Oh, I've got a feeling it's all going to have disappeared by tomorrow with the slugs and stuff. Yeah, it doesn't need trenching, but we do grow them quite closely together, and that they sort of shade each other out, and to be honest, they don't really blanch at all, even with shading each other out. And I'm not bothered by the fact that they don't blanch, because I think the dark green stalks are tastier than all that pale insipid stuff that you buy in the shops. Oh, noisy cats. So I've got another 4 I'll put in there, and 2 to start the next row of 4, and there's a couple that are real stragglers that I've left on the table by the shed, because I think, to be honest, they were looking so decimated and pathetic of leaf. I don't think they're going to stand a chance if I put them out now, but give them a couple of days on the table in the fresh air, they might perk up. So yeah, let's just get on and start planting. And like I said, I've got the watering can handy because honestly I can't get over how dry the soil is. There's a bit of moisture to the soil, put it this way. It's not like just a little over a week ago when, eggs of something. There's eggs in there, I don't know if you can see, either slug or snail. So obviously I'm not going to plant those in the soil. Yeah, just a little over a week ago, before we had that thundery rain night, this would have been just dust, either concrete or dust, nothing in between. Okay, well, let me carry on and get these all planted and think about what's next, and take that nasturtium plant up to this shed to remind me to harvest the seed heads from. Rather pathetic looking at the moment, but hopefully they'll perk up now they're in. Oh, it feels so lovely to plant something. It's a joy, isn't it? It's such it's a kind of long-term thrill. Might it grow? If it grows, when will I be harvesting? Will the plant still be here tomorrow? Will the slugs come out? I've put a few pellets down. But yeah, it's just so lovely to be picking harvests, planting little plants, bit of tidying, bit of deadheading. I really hope I get another flush of flowers from the calendula, because I haven't actually harvested a huge amount this year. I mean, I've harvested a lot, but I could always do with more. Right, next job, trimming and cutting my edges. The grass is starting to grow again. Oh my goodness, and it's starting to green up again. It never ceases to amaze me how grass can bounce back. I mean, these paths were like, it wasn't even like straw. It was like straw that had been pulverised to dust. It was just dust on top of concrete. We had that, I think it must have been about 10 hours of rain a week and a bit ago. That bit of rain last night, and there's green in the grass again, and it's growing again. Yay. Anyway, so I'm going to get on with trimming and trimming. You don't need to see that. It's very, very tedious. And then I'm going to pick a few more tomatoes, because there's a few more to pick, and go home. And so I think, what should we do? I think we'll do a tour soon. Yeah, it's right. Getting out of track with my tours again. I'll do a garden tour. We've got the flat tour coming up too. Is there anything else to plant in the meantime? I'll get on with things, but yeah, let's come back to the garden together again soon. I'll give you a tour, show you where everything is at. I have been, in the last couple of days, poking under leaves in the squash beds. Have I seen anything? Of course I have. All right, lovelies, I'll see you again really soon. In the meantime, take care, stay well, enjoy getting stuck into your September jobs, whether it's deadheading, chopping up, plant matter that's gone over, chop it up for the compost or for mulching, tidying, harvesting. Oh, it's a great month in the garden, September, isn't it? Even though we're slightly saying goodbye to the growing season, it is a great month. See you all again really soon. Until then, cheerio.